we've been surviving. We've been doing all right, and it's great that you come to join us for an hour with the tower.
Yeah.
We're going to try and run through a little bit of what's happened to Steve Warburton, probably over the last 10 or 12 years, because that's how long it's been.
Yeah.
If not a little bit further. When did you first start playing, and how did you learn? And when did you decide that this, do you know what, playing poker for a living, this could be a very good career?
Making me feel old, that. Every time I play poker now, everyone still sort of sees me as like the kind of young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a few years, isn't it? I first started playing when I was like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I was a sort of typical kid. I had no idea what I kind of wanted to do for a living, except for the fact that I didn't want to work for anyone. So, when you were growing up, you're always asked, what do you want to do? What do you want? I never had an answer. Except for, I don't know why, I just always said I never really wanted to work for someone. So when I started university, I kind of had this plan, which was to not really go to university and just basically use the student loan and basically start playing poker from there.
Yeah.
Which didn't really go down too well. I remember my dad specifically wasn't very happy that I was quitting university, and I've got quite a few aunties that are all teachers. And so I kind of had this plan of just get this, kind of $3,000 student loan.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the rest of my life will just be sorted, which has kind of happened. I basically went to university. I went to the first lecture that was on a Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And I remember turning up thinking, I'm just not going to come back. But I kind of had to tell it a few porkies the rest of the year, pretending I was going, I was committed.
Yeah.
All I was doing was just playing 1-2 cash games in the Manchester G in the age of about 18 years old.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I got started. I kind of played some £5 sitting goes with friends when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, and it was relentless back then. It was like 5 or 6 games every night, waiting lists.
Yeah.
Constant action, just everyone was coming through the door. What's this game? Do you know what I mean? No one could really play. Every pot was maybe 4 or 5 way. None of this kind of check calling, taking ages. It was so exciting when you first started playing it, especially for me anyway. And I just loved it. I was playing till 6 a.m. every night. Moved to Manchester. It was so exciting. It was this game that you didn't need to be that good at. You just kind of need to be better than your average Joe sort of thing.
Mm.
And it was fantastic. So
the early days were all cash.
All cash. What are you drinking, by the way, Tower?
Water. Believe it or not.
You're not. I thought I could rely on you, mate. Come on. Right.
Come on, son. Your first
drink, just so you know, I've got some Pims.
Yes, very nice, very posh.
Saturday afternoon, and I've also got a nice Peroni as well. Just so you know. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Multi drinking as well, mate. So you played cash, but then you go on to your first ever Hendon mob. Can you remember what it was?
Oh, first ever Hendon mob. Well, basically,
I'll tell you it was a win.
Oh, I know what it was. So I was playing cash games every night. I thought tournaments were stupid. I thought tournaments were the most ridiculous thing ever, and it was too fast. And I wanted some, to kind of play deep and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing much has kind of changed over the years, but I played. I think it was Walsall, right? £100 side event.
That's exactly what it was.
I played £100 side event, and it finished at about 5:45.
Yeah.
They told us that if it got to 6 o'clock, then they were just going to say whoever had the most chips won.
That's when they closed at 6 a.m. That's correct.
Yeah, and I basically folded something like 15 hands heads up. So I'd fold. It was on him. He'd raise. I'd fold. And then they told us this, and I moved all in with Jack 5 offsuit. I got called by Jacks. Won the hand, and then won the next 2 hands, and basically won it. Obviously, looking back now, I had no idea what I was doing heads up. I was folding all these hands heads up and whatever, but Yeah, that was my first one, I think.
Yeah. And then your first 7 cashes ended up being on GUKPT side events and APAT side events. So I'm not being funny, but I'm not being funny. You played cash, but every time you seem to play a GUKPT or an APAT, you seem to cash in the sides.
Yeah, I think that was more to do with the cash games weren't as kind of good as they were. I was fairly lazy about, kind of. I'm like I was studying back then, and now people study just an insane amount of things, and so you kind of maybe kind of go with the flow of, okay, what's next on is GUKPT Bolton or Warsaw or London, and so you're almost kind of forced into it. I didn't have lots of money back then, but when you've got maybe 10 grand to your name and there's a £500 tournament on, you kind of go with the flow, and it's all about people as well, Towers. When you play live, you just meet people every day. You're playing cash games maybe 8 to 12 hours a day. You meet people all the time, and people talk, and where are you going next week? Oh, there's this thing on. And so it was very strange how I kind of got into tournaments. It was more kind of, that was what everyone was doing, and you know what I mean? So that's kind of where it kind of started.
It's a good job you went into side events, because in May 2011, you do realize that's nearly 10 years ago. May 2011, your first 5 figures cash for 11,000 at the Salford Megastack.
Raf White was running that. And he said, I remember him saying something like, and this is one of my first tournaments, if you don't play, you're in trouble. And I was saying, Raf, I don't really play tournaments. And, and he was saying, you basically got to come down and stuff. And I remember we had 2 tables left, and Alex Martin was like the kind of big player back then. And I think I knocked him out, and then from there I won the tournament. And then probably after that I was thinking, tournaments are actually all right, aren't they? Completely being results orientated to the whole thing. Pretty much after that one was when I kind of started playing them more regularly.
Did that first 5 figure cash go straight into the bankroll, or was it just like party time?
I'm pretty sure that doubled the bankroll.
Well, that's, you got to start. You have to start somewhere.
Honestly, Tal, for probably the first 4 or 5 years I played poker, I had between £1,000 and £9,000 or £10,000, and never ever got beyond that. I was just playing low stakes. You kind of win a few quid here and lose a few quid there. To win 11,000 back then was like, wow. I mean, let's basically play these tournaments because you can win huge money. So I think I had about 4 or 5 grand to my name, and obviously won that one in Salford.
And in the
state, coming out with 11 grand in Salford, by the way. But
well, it wasn't a bad year 2011, because the GUKPT 500s, you got 8.8 and 7.7. So now you must have been thinking. These tournaments now, all right, cash is good, cash is nice to sit with the mates, but tournaments, I'm pretty good at these.
No, I really used to struggle with confidence, like a lot. I'm not saying I'm super confident now, but I was always very aware of what was happening, and I saw these guys win, and rather than looking at results, I was more looking at the hands they played, and I was thinking, well, if that guy had lost that hand with 15 left, he would have won that tournament. It'd be something like ace queen against ace king, and he basically hit a queen or something. So I feel like I've always been quite level-headed when I kind of win or lose, and so I never really got carried away with what was happening. And I would say that I definitely put more effort in, and I maybe respected them more as a thing. So like the next few years, I was obviously more kind of focused and taking it more seriously, definitely.
Well, it's been an interesting start. We'll be back with Mr. Steve Warburton very soon in the next episode of An Hour with the Tower.
Looking forward to it.
So back with back with an hour at the tower with the fabulous. Can I just say? Can you just lean forward and show everybody that lockdown's not been favourable for most?
Mate, this is 4 months. 4 months of no haircut. So we went to where did we go? We went to Hampshire. It was me, Little Dave, Jake Fish.
Yeah.
This was about 3 weeks before lockdown started, because everyone in all the different countries was saying, look, this is basically going to come to you. So we basically went to lockdown, and I just thought, Jesus, for the next 3 months, no one's going to cut my hair. It's just going to be an absolute disaster. And it is an absolute disaster. But I've made no effort to make it better. Just so you know, this is literally just as it comes out. This is nothing.
It looks good. Back to the Steve Warburton story. 2011, your first Vegas cash. I'm guessing right now you still need ID to get anywhere in Vegas because you're such a young-looking chap, and I mean that. And that's
time.
You will need a passport forever. 2011, your first ever Vegas cash. How was that?
Well, I mean, this was back in the day where if I basically walked around the Rio, not playing a tournament, I was just, kind of looking for a friend or something, I used to have security guards march round all the way around and come up to me and just ask me for ID. And every time I'd say, I'm not gambling, and they just say, I don't, because they're really strict. Massive clubs over there.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that happened, so I never set foot after that. Probably happened like 4 or 5 times. I would never go into a tournament room unless I was actually playing, because I just used to get ID'd all the time. But 2011 cash, that was probably 3 years before I actually played what I'd consider proper tournaments in Vegas.
Yeah.
I basically went to Vegas for 3 years, 11, 12, 13, and just played cash games. And I was very hypocritical in terms of everyone I spoke to. I'd say, why are you playing tournaments? Stupid. You should play cash and all this stuff. And then in 2014, I think I played the main event, and that's when I kind of really got hooked as well. I think that 2011 one was just a random rogue cash, which is probably why no cashes from that until 2014.
No, we're not going to start with the rub downs at all in the slightest, but it is part of history.
Go on.
Your biggest ever shot at the time was a 5K buy in the EPT London.
Oh, disaster.
Unfortunately,
disaster.
Unfortunately, the crowd would have been cheering, roaring, and shouting and whooping because everybody's made the money. Because Steve Warburton became that unfortunate bubble boy.
I've never ever been backed. I'm really proud that I've never kind of borrowed money. I've never been backed. But that was the first tournament that I sold action. I sold 50%, and it was I think it was my first 5K. And so, I mean, I'm really competitive anyway, but to let someone else down, that's just, I hate that. And so I think when we were about 15 off the money, I basically made the mistake of messaging everyone that had backed me and said, I'm 15 off the money, I'm all right in chips. And then I kind of dwindled down, and on the bubble I had, you always remember the hands you lose, don't you?
Of course, yeah.
Ace-king diamonds, all in against aces on the bubble. And we basically got all in. I'm thinking, oh my God, I was got aces.
Yeah.
And like the first 2 cards were diamonds as well. So I was like, well, I've basically got 4 cards. Because also this was back in the day when it was like 1 card, not just 3 cards straight out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I basically bubbled, and I was in the very far end table of the room.
Oh, marvellous.
This is a huge, huge room. And the second the river card comes down, there's guys on the mic saying, congratulations, you're all in the money. And people used to get a lot more excited back then as well.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, Tower. That was the longest walk of my life. Everyone was high-fiving. Congratulations, you've made the money. I had to shake 3 people's hands on the way out because they thought I'd made the money. So I was just going with it. I got all the way to the end of the room, and one of my pals, he told me that if you finish on the bubble, you get a free for next year. So I'm thinking, oh, great. I marched all the way back, found the TD, and he said, Oh no, we stopped doing that last year.
Double bubble.
No, I've had to do it twice. I've had to walk to it twice.
Oh dear.
Get out. I'm going to bring everyone and say, I'm sorry, you bet on your money. So,
yeah.
You know.
But a couple of years later, you went back to London 2013 and you actually cashed. We ended up 22nd.
Redemption, kind of.
Which is pretty deep. Just under 20,000. Was it annoying not to go any further in the tournament, or was it one of those where we've just experienced a bubble a couple of years ago where everybody's opening you and you didn't want to be in that circumstance yet again?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one. I kind of felt like I was going to final table.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I just kind of lost a few key hands. And also back then, you kind of get very carried away. You know, when there's 30 left, you're so convinced you're going to do well. And
yeah.
It's one of those. I was kind of happy that I obviously didn't bubble and I went deep. But I was kind of disappointed to not final table.
Well, you started travelling about a little bit, and then obviously the year after, GUKPT Manchester, you ended up chopping it with Rhys Jones and Simon Denman.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. 39,000 for finishing third. And I actually remember.
So do I.
You actually remember you said that you'd cry if you won it.
Yeah, I remember it like it.
I think you would have done, because I think Manchester's your home, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously where I first started playing 1-2 cash, and the amount of hours you spend there, and you know all the locals, and I don't know, just I feel like with Manchester every year, I always seem to be in the mix and not really make much money based out. I'm always quite deep, and I might get a min cash or finish just before the money, and I don't know, I feel like 5-6 years ago as well, I got way more into tournaments in terms of I'd be like so invested mentally and emotionally that I remember on that last night, it was probably day 2, whatever it was, just speaking to you, just thinking, if I actually finally do this, I'll be so overwhelmed. And yeah, and it was more as well, like I've always felt like I need to kind of prove a point, maybe to like my dad, like my family.
You would also, because you've been at the EPTs and because you started traveling around playing tournaments, people started pointing and saying, that's Steve Walton. This guy's pretty good at it, you know?
Yeah, that was a bit weird, because I'm a sort of guy who's always like feet on the ground, and I don't really get like starstruck by people, and so like for people to say that, I was a bit just like, well, I've kind of been doing this every day for a few years, and do you know what I mean? I haven't really changed, and you didn't notice me then, sort of thing. So I was a bit kind of weirded out by it almost. But that interview though, I remember it well, and it's slightly cringy just thinking about it. Watching. But yeah, and I think I actually like fell on the floor or something, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think I was like, oh god.
Yes, and finally for 2014, before we end this section, the World Series, we end up cashing in a side event for 3.5, but that wasn't the highlight. No, because we went and played the main event. And do you know where you finished? Will it always be etched?
I know it was under 300.
182nd.
Yeah.
Out of 6,682.
It was a good one because it was my first one.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd ever played the Bane. I went really deep with my good friend Tim Hickling.
Mm-hmm.
He was somehow on the table next to me every day. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
And I remember on day 5, just walking in with him, and they had the music on and stuff, and you're just thinking, this is like how it used to be. You know, like I was saying before, when you first started playing, that real buzz of playing. So yeah, that was fun. But we obviously didn't go deeper than that, but it was nice to win wherever I won.
It was a very good run and a good ending to 2014. It would have been nice, obviously, because it was just, I think it was the first time it was 10 mil for the winner. So
I don't know, was that the Jamie Gold year, was it?
No, that was of course, Jamie Gold got 12, didn't he? Yeah, when he got 10 million, but 182nd wasn't that ending to 2014 for you.
And it was maybe 40 or 50 grand, which again at the time, Even now, it's so much money to win from a tournament. You're obviously really disappointed, but to just put that amount, it's
well. Coming to the end of this episode, we will be back with Steve Warburton very soon on An Hour with the Tower. Back with Mr. Steve Warburton for An Hour with the Tower, and we've moved on to May 2015 and the WPT Amsterdam. Has to be one of the favourite stops for poker players by far. 341 entries, and second, 150,000.
This was my favourite tournament of all time.
Yeah,
it was such a good tournament. Just everyone is just like, I don't know what it is about Amsterdam, and obviously 60% or 70% of the field are kind of Dutch, and there's just no one kind of taking the mickey and being slow with their play, and everyone's talking to each other, and that's like from day one to the end. It was just a really fun tournament, and I felt like as well it wasn't a tournament where it was, just winning flips the whole way through. It was like a really good structure and stuff, and yeah, it was just a really fun tournament, and it was obviously my biggest score at the time. A lot of my best friends were there at the time. Again, it was just an obscene amount of money. It was just like so good. We had a fantastic evening afterwards.
What was the party like afterwards?
So good, Tower. It was just so good. It's just like I'm honestly, I'm such an old man. After about 4 or 5 hours, I'm just like a back ache, and I want to go to bed. But when you've just got like pure poker rush adrenaline, it's just so good just to go out, and you just like, it's great. It happens very rarely to win a tournament, but it was a great effort. Then you go on to Party Poker High Roll, another second, and you lost to Alex Golder, but you're good friends with Alex. Yeah, sure.
Was there a lot of chatting when you were heads up, or was it like enemies at the table and then shaking hands and a bit of a cuddle afterwards?
We were talking about this recently, actually. This is when Dusk Till Dawn had basically banned you from making a deal.
Yeah.
And I remember we basically went outside to just have a chat, and Simon Trumper came out. He literally just tapped me on the shoulder, and he just said, "If you make a deal, you're barred from like DTD for life." And I was like, okay, just outside. So yeah, we weren't actually allowed to make a deal. And I don't think I actually won a hand heads up. Alex won. He was like typically smug about it. And, yeah.
As long as you're still friends, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
As long as you're still friends. But the biggie, in 2015, we head up to Barcelona. We play another EPT. We have 1,694 runners. There's nearly 10 million in the prize pool.
Yeah, it's big, yeah.
1,070,000 for second.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
I'm going to talk. Obviously, this is one of the moments I always remember while watching a live stream for one of the first times. Watching this, because obviously we all remember the chop. But what was it like at the final table, knowing what was at stake? There's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really talked about it. Like, obviously it happened, and people congratulate on the money and stuff. But I've never really talked about like the whole thing. I mean, I remember the night before I even entered, I was like pretty sure that I was just going to quit the game, because I'd had basically a couple of years of thinking I was doing well and kind of knocking on the door and stuff, but just never actually making any money, essentially from it. And I was just completely over it, to be honest. And so I kind of went into that tournament and played, I don't know, maybe what you describe as like really badly, because I just didn't care. Do you know what I mean? And I was just doing all these ridiculous plays and like ridiculous bluffs and ridiculous things, just thinking, well, this is probably my last one ever.
Mm.
And if I think someone's not got a good hand, I'm basically just going to put them to the test almost. And so there are so many hand histories in that tournament where I'm just completely putting it off. Never getting called. So I was never, in a situation. I think there was like one reported where I like 5-bet or 6-bet that that's a jeans guy. He plays like PLO online. And there's just this like ludicrous hand history where I've like 3-bet and jack 3 off. I'm 5-bet, sorry. And he's called, and it's come like king 6 deuce. And he's checked and I bet and he's folded. And I've shown it for some reason, which I never ever do. And I'm just looking back now, just thinking, there was just so many hands like that where I was just like, well, let's just try and win it or not. And obviously, so lucky to actually go on and chop it and things.
Yeah.
And the final table was just loads and loads of fun.
Well, it was also famous for a rowdy rail.
Super rowdy rail. There was obviously the hand where John DeWanders folded kings pre, which would have basically knocked me out if I'd not hit an ace. I had ace king suited. I think it was 7 or 8 left.
Yeah.
It's gone like open 3-bet, 4-bet from the small blind. I ended up jamming because we'd basically just been for dinner, and he was basically saying something along the lines of, "There's 3 short stacks. The money jumps are big.
Yeah.
We kind of don't need to get involved." And so from that, I kind of took it as, right, you're not going to want to kind of get in some huge kind of confrontation pre-flop. And so I was pretty confident he'd fold queens pre. I would obviously never have done it if I knew he had kings, because no one folds kings pre. He ended up folding, and we basically did the deal 3-handed, which was obviously life-changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really feel much pressure because I just had this mentality of like, I don't really care. And it was a really strange tournament, to be honest. And I really kind of wish now I played every tournament like that, because it was almost just like no fear. Do you know what I mean? You just didn't really care what was.
Yeah. And you're doing a deal for 7 figures, and you.
Afternoon, everybody,
Good
and
afternoon.
welcome back to Leeds. Oh, it's been a great week, Jay.
It has. Final day today. Really looking forward to it. We've got 19 players are coming back. We started with 439 entries. That was whittled down to 139 for day 2, and then 19 making it through yesterday.
Brilliant.
Chip leader.
Chip leader. Shall we have a look at the chips from end of last night?
Shall we have a little look?
We'll have a quick look of the end of the last night. Chips, look at this. And 1.17 million. He says, "I'll be first out today." I said, "We'll be talking at the end of the day." It's a great chip stack to start with starting blinds of 6,000, 12,000.
Yeah, he's got 100 bigs, Jack, so he's right in position to make a very deep run here.
Yeah.
And
Ryan Mandara was pretty excited about the day as well. 3rd in chips, Irish Open winner, been there, done it. He's got the resume behind him.
Yeah.
We know his stack and his players. I don't think players fear anybody anymore like they used to.
yeah,
But give him chips.
Yeah.
And the way he plays, he's obviously got a chance.
well, yeah, it was great watching him yesterday on the featured table. It's just every decision, whether it be running a bluff, making a call, making a fold, he seems to make the correct decision. And when you're doing that and you're on form like that, it's very hard to stop. It is if someone just keeps making the correct decision in pots, they're just going to go far all the time.
One person that is going under the radar, and a lot of people won't know, is Paul Grummett. He's got 644,000, local lad to here, always plays GUKPTs around this area, most of them up north as well. Just watch out for Paul, because he's a very steady and very good player. He can mix it up. The name above him, Jamie O'Connor, Boz to a lot of players. GUKPT win in the past. Online scores all over the country. He's been on World Series final tables. It's not a bad last 19, is it?
No, it's not. It's actually quite a good field left in Tower for the last 19. Dan Charlton in there as well. Obviously, countless scores for him. Very good player.
Yeah.
Like watching Mike play yesterday. He was chip leader for most of the day. Mike Allen, he's still in the mix, but he seemed to play very well on the featured table.
That's where we are with all the chip counts as it's scrolling down there. Tom High, Stu Rutter, Jess Pilkington. Can we have a female winner? We are hoping and praying, and I know it's everybody says how many women play the game compared to men, and we know it's a very small percentage, but we have had final table lists, and we've a good chance today.
Yeah, we've got three left in. Yeah,
three still in, so we have still got them. Overnight, we had the betting.
Yep.
And we had the betting. If we can, I'm not sure if we flicked it. I don't know which don't we do a press, Andrew? We'll stick it again. Let's quickly go out of there, stick it on there. Look at that. And on the line, this is a bit of fun. If you're trying to work out the over round and you're trying to work out this price is not priced up, and why is he 20s and why is he 4s and why is he 10s, it's a bit of fun. It's to have a bit of interest while you're watching the live stream. And obviously, right at the top, Jack Hardcastle. His chip counts at the side of his name. He's 9-2. The book's closed. You cannot have a bet anymore because the game has started behind us. So you can't have a bet. But people were looking and sticking a couple of quid on the right.
Boz was 8-1 at the start of the day.
Was
when
he really?
We first woke up. Yeah, it was 8-1. 8-1.
When you woke up?
Yeah.
What time did you wake up?
About 10:30.
Well, plenty of money has been.
Yeah.
Plenty of money has gone on it.
I said it was a great bet. Well, I came in and said to Tower, Boz 8-1. That's an absolute steal, and now he's into 11-2.
Into 11-2.
So I reckon a lot.
I like
of
the
people...
Elliot Mirace at 25s. Goliath winner. Now, if you're going to beat a field of 8,000 people, with only 19 left, all right, he's got 396. He's got 30 odd bigs, but he's got a big chance of winning it.
Yeah,
and any kind of decent day.
I think Nicolay's very good value as well. He plays very well when he's on the feature table. Seems to be very competent at 20-1. If he can get a double up or win a few pots, chip up, he'll be right in the mix as well. I think he's a great value bet as well. Nicolay, definitely one to look out for. But at the top, obviously Jack favourite for a reason. 9-2. Yes. He's got all the chips. He plays very well. And I'm interested to see how today goes.
Yeah. The quiet man on the table, Adam Bromley as well. He's nearly $1 million, and he was 8-1 as well. So just watch out for Adam because he's obviously got the game. We saw him a couple of times yesterday, but we'll see more of him today. That's for sure. But they're the prices of all the players that are still left. Yes, you've got your Will at 66 as the Ace Queen boy, and then you've got Gary White at the Ace Queen boy, and then we've got Jess at 50s. But they are the prices. I hope we had a little couple of pound on to get your juices flowing for tonight, and just a bit of interest and have a bit of fun with all the players because it is a little bit of fun regarding the players. And yes, if the mark's up wrong, it is what it is. You're not in it to back them, to lay them off on the exchange and make a bit of money that way. So yeah. But if I went for an outsider myself, I'd like to see the final three. I'd like to see Paul Grummett in the final three. I'd like to see Boz in the final three, and let's go for Jessica Pilkington as a final three. That would be. Pick. I would love those three. But there are so many good names, so many big names, and so many great players. And I do believe, and I do think Jack is favourite and a worthy favourite. So we'll head straight over.
Should we get into it, Tower?
Play has just started.
Let's go.
Who's
First
missing?
hand of the day. Yeah, who's
missing on that? We've got Dan Charlton in seat number 1, telling all his mates that they're just about to start. We've got Ryan Mandara in 2. In 6 is Boz. Where is he? Where's that Boz fella? Bixie is in 6. Gary Whitehead is in 7. And in seat number 8, James Williams. So we're missing Boz. Don't know how long we're missing Boz for. We're not missing Boz for very long.
He's back.
He's here. And he probably lives the closest.
Yeah, he's a Leeds fan, aren't you, Boz?
Yeah, lives in Leeds, and he's obviously home comforts and all that.
Yeah.
He's not missed much. He hasn't missed. Afternoon, everybody in the chat boxes. Good afternoon, one and all. Flight crash, repair, repeat. Good morning, Sylvia Hewitt out Slinks. Rooting for the women. Kyle Fraser. Good afternoon. Spand. Gary Wilson. Paul Leverage. The pot washer's back. Pot washer and bottle snatcher are back working on minimum. Paul Fletcher from the White Lion in Wrightington. They are back. Not the best week for any of those two, but Yeah, and scrolling along the bottom already, 72,200 up top, and the prize money for the final 19 players as it stands right now. 14th to 16th in the final, 17th to 19th will reach £2,590.
Yeah, that's why everyone's got locked up. Obviously, looking at the first place prize, it's a great figure up top for a 670 buy, and it really is. And it's been a great turnout here in Leeds all weekend. Action's been good on the featured, and it's just been a really enjoyable event. And looking forward to covering this until a close today.
Cristiano's got Boz at 8s, and looks like half the field, half of Leeds are on it too. So it's now 11-2.
Must have been, yeah. I saw it and I was like, 8-1. That's an absolute steal. I thought he was fourth in chips, 8-1. I definitely think he's better priced than 8-1 Boz, and I'm sure, as Tal just said, there's a lot of people on Boz today. I think he was the value in the betting. So we are six-handed at the moment because we've got 19 players left.
Yeah, we'll get a full table when we get down to 16 because we're 800 maximum. If we get any eliminations or action from the outer tables, we will give them to you and let you know exactly what is happening.
Well, we got Gary off of 15 big blinds coming in for an open in the cut-off with a Jack 8 suited.
Oh, bless you. In fact, we'll quickly go to the outer table. Very, very early stages just to see everybody who is playing. There's Tom High, Will McMurray in seat number 2. With 180,000, 66-1 was Will McMurray.
Yep.
Andy Morgan, just short of 500,000. Got his coat on as if he's leaving. Nikolai Pomerov is around the table as well. Jess Pilkington and Sharon Horn sat together. The two ladies doing it together. And there's Adam. Keep your eyes out for Mr. Bromley because nobody will know who Adam is, but he's a good player. And then straight over to the outer table as well, Stu Rutter, former champion, but a short stack on 200,000. Majid Nadeem, who was a stack of 580. There's the Grummett and Michael Allen. Paul Grummett on the right. Hope he has a deep run for the local guys. Michael Allen been in a lot of chips most of the tournament, but not at the moment. Got 400,000. Elliot Race, former Goliath champion and favourite and best shirt wearer and chip leader Jack Hardcastle, and I do think he is a worthy favourite for this title.
Yeah, I saw Will McMurray on the outer table there, Tal. I went when we finished yesterday. I was getting some fresh air on the terrace. Will come out. I had to hide under my jacket, scared for my life.
This is it. You have to get us out of it. You have to get everyone out. Yeah, same mate. Very yeah. Always find our way back.
As you see the prizes scrolling across, obviously during the day you'll see the eliminated players and their positions they're finishing. Whenever that happens around the room,
We're going to have an all-in here from
Bixie's
Bixie.
in. Come on, the Bixie.
15 bigs facing Ryan's Buttoff Open. We are fist pump getting this in here.
Raising it up.
Coming in for just a 3-bet with the ace queen. Surprised to see that one. Does the same job nonetheless. For 15 big blinds there versus button open from Ryan. A lot of the time you're just going to see the ace-queen move all in.
There'll be noises coming around from around the room as well, because at 1 p.m. today the seniors starts. You need to be 50 or over to get into the seniors. That starts at 1 o'clock. It's £150 in. The only event of the week that's not got NPL points, because obviously it's restricted to personnel. But it's a great game. The players love it. It's been very successful. The seniors is run at starts, £150 in, 20,000 starting stack, and a 30-minute clock starts in 20 minutes time.
Afternoon, Martin on Facebook. How many left, he asked? We are left with 19 players. We've just kicked off here for day 3, 19 coming back, still 19 in. We've only had a couple of hands so far to start the day.
Yeah, we're 8-handed tables from day 2 and day 3 until the final of 9. So that's why there's a short-handed table. There's 2 tables of 6 and 1 table of 7. So we're on 19.
So Ryan in the hijack here with the king jack suited, and Boz just flattening the pocket 8s in the cut-off. And action on James in the big blind, not opting to defend the jack 9 off. And heads up between Ryan and Boz. Boz with the best of it. Ryan with 2 overs, betting lead. And out flops Boz on the king 10-9 rainbow. Nice check spot this for Ryan, and he has checked it. Like to see that. These sort of boards are good boards to come in for a check with your top pair when you've got a gut shot as well. And Ryan checking once more, trying to induce something from Boz, and exactly what he's done here. Better 42k from Boz. No need to raise here as Ryan. Just going to make the call, want to keep Boz's bluffs in there, and that's exactly what he does. And river card is the 3 of diamonds. And Brian checking over to Boz again, trying to get this to happen, and that is exactly what does happen. Ryan's just going to flat here though. There's no merit in raising this hand, and plays it to perfection, gets the maximum, check in flop, turn and river. And Ryan going to take that one with the king jack of spades up to 900k straight away. Just aware as well how aggressive Boz can be with position, and knows that he is going to have stabs at pots and is going to potentially come in for river bluffs as well. Just about knowing the opponent in that particular scenario. May not have played the hand the same way against different opponent. Afternoon spans. Come on, Nicolay, Mike Allen got them both at 25s. I think they're very good value, especially Nicolay with his stack. I think he's definitely good value. And Bixie makes it 25k in the cutoff. And Gary with 15 big blinds could potentially shove this one versus cutoff open here. I don't think Gary's the type of player to do that though. And he is just going to call. And action on Dan in the big blind, who's going to defend with the 7-8. There are some action flops with these 3 holdings, I'll tell you that. Hopefully we get one for the entertainment factor. Haha, and that's not it. Deuce.
4 deuce deuce is not the flop for any kind of action.
It's the flop for Bixie though, because she's got an overpair here with the 6s, so she wants to be continuing here. No need to check, want to deny equity to all the overcards. Don't want either Gary or Dan to realise their equity if it checks through with overs. So Big C coming in for the C bet, better 35k, and I'd be very surprised if we got to the turn in this particular scenario. Tower. Two quick folds, and Big C, good start from her, up to 300k.
Just like that. Afternoon, Sally. Sally Hawksworth, afternoon. Another day sitting on the edge of the sofa. Ryan all the way. Yeah, we've seen Emily turned up on the live rail with Byron Sugars. Sat watching, hoping for a long day. Railing. Ryan. Mr. P, man, well done yesterday. Great effort. Massive entries. Massive entries. Well done, Mr. P, man. Good to see you.
Afternoon, Nessa.
Oi, oi. Morecambe massive. I booked him yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Dave Doherty must have
called
heard.
it. He called it.
I called it.
He does it all the time to everyone, mate. You're cursed as soon as he says
I called
that.
it. We were rooting for you, man. We were rooting for you. I thought once you won that, I thought this was it. I thought this was going to be a nice deep run. Yeah, did it? Yeah. Unbelievable. But we're getting closer. And you're always deep, so we're turning. Edinburgh? You want me to play in Edinburgh? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, your FT that. Oh, I reckon you will.
Oh, there
I
you go.
reckon you will.
Straight
There you
away,
go.
I like it.
Ryan.
Nice one, David. David Doherty, who got boxed yesterday by myself. Unfortunately, when he won the Monster Pot, we just thought he was going to take it on, and he just said it was just one of those. Yeah. Afterwards, it's just a day to forget, unfortunately.
Yeah, Ryan free betting the Ace-4 suited versus button open. Good to see. Always talk about these suited wheel hands, incorporating them in some of the time as a free bet. And that's what Ryan does there, especially against a button open. We're just going to get lots of folds from our opponent, and the times that we are called, it's a playable hand, good equity. As I always say, you got 30% against every hand in the deck except aces, which we block. We half the combos. So.
Afternoon, Sean. How many chips has Mike Allen got? Well, we've already done a pan, and he started the day with 400,000. So we'll give you any updates regarding chip stacks at most breaks or at every break, and if there's obviously a table change, if we get to the next one, he might be on the next feature table. So keep watching, and we'll update you on a regular basis.
There we go.
If we're betting on who will be there at the end when the trophy is awarded, I see my money's on the tower.
That's a great bet.
Afternoon, Will. Will Peters watching.
So Dan on the button here wants to open the Ace King, playing 25 big blinds. And Boz says, no, not defending.
No, we've not lost anybody yet. We're only 15 minutes in. We started with 19. We're still on 19. So, as we know, players who've got interest and people who've got personal interests, all we do ask is if you hear anything in that 30-minute delay that we use for security reasons, that nothing's passed on in the chat boxes, but nothing normally is, because we've got a good community between us.
Tower's on it anyway. It'll be banning you any spoilers in the chat box.
Yeah, we go 8-handed as soon as possible on the day 2, James. What normally happens is we're 9-handed all the way through the tournaments on day 1A and day 1B and the turbos. If we need to go 9-handed to start day 2s, we will, but we balance the tables 8-handed as soon as possible for day 2s, and then it's 8-handed all the way through to the final. So we will get a full table when we get down to 16, whenever that may be.
So Dan Cholton with the pocket 10s opening the cut-off here. Ryan looks like he has a decision here on the button, unaware of his holding, but opts to just flat here. Might have like a suited connector here, like a queen jack suited, but he doesn't want a free bet against Dan stack size because he can't pull off a rip. We'll have pairs in there as well, hands like deuces through sevens.
8, king, 8.
Yeah, you can definitely have some king jack of spades, king queen in here, Ryan, as well. Oh, lovely turn for Dan Cholton. Turning a boat. And now, I thought he might just come in for value here. Ryan will check back some of his king X on this king 8-8 rainbow. But Dan gets Ryan to fire up for 28k. And looks like he's just going to flat keep Ryan's bluffs in there. We've got a boat, we've got a lock on this hand. There's a jack of diamonds on the river. Check, check, and Dan shows the pocket tens. Ryan rivered a jack there. I think he had queen jack there too. It looked like queen jack of spades, I think was the hand Ryan had. Ace jack, sorry, ace jack. So he rivered the jack.
Is Rene still in? No, Rene bust yesterday during the day. Right then, question for you.
Okay.
Based on the amounts of money placed on the sportsbook,
Okay.
name the top 5 players that have had more punts on them in
Okay.
the final 19.
Okay.
And that's for everybody. That's not just for Jay.
Right, I'm going to go with
Go on then.
Boss, Dan Cholton, Mike Allen, Jessica Pilkington, and Ryan. I don't think many people would have backed Jack, even though he is favourite, because he's 9-2, 4.5-1 in a 19-player field left. I'm not too sure, like, if the value's there at that price. Obviously, Jack definitely favourite to win the comp, not taking that away from him, but I'm not sure if the value is there. So that'd be my 5 tower. How many did I get right?
And just run through them again.
Boz, Mike Allen, Ryan Mandara, Dan Cholton, and Jessica Pilkington.
Well, you got 3.
I got 3.
James Ablett says Jack, Dan, Jessica, Ryan, and Boz.
Boz is definitely one.
James Ablett got 4.
So Jack must be in there, Jack Harcastle.
James Ablett got 4 straight in. Boz, Dan, Ryan, Jack, and Jess. That's 4 again. So the good guessing going off. Cheers, Nick. Swap Jessica for Adam Bromley, says Nathan Poulton. No, it is not. The 4 that everybody are getting are Boz, Dan, Ryan and Jack. That is correct. They're the 4 that everybody are guessing. The 5th is Thomas High. Tom High is one of the top 5 participants, let me tell you. There's a lot of shrewd punters out there that think Tom's going to run very deep in this. So some great information from the guys online regarding the punting, and a little bit of fun regarding having a bet and interest in the Grosvenor Sport book.
Afternoon, Gary asks what happened to Ludo yesterday. He busted on one of the outer tables, so we are unaware of how he did bust. He was flying at one point, but obviously things can change so quickly in this game. I believe he was around 30th place. As we've got Boz opening King 6 suited, and Ryan going to defend the Jack 9 spades.
Tim Chung on the flops as it comes. I'll mention that very shortly. Just back to the hand and the flop. Jack 4 deuce, bit of a non-flop for Boz, but Ryan, it's top pair.
Yeah, Ryan's going to check call here. Tower. Boz coming in for C bet of 18 into 68. So just under, or just over quarter pot, I should say. And now Ryan not going anywhere with his top pair, makes the call. Into the turn, which is the deuce of diamonds. Bit of a brick. And Boz snap checks back. And the ace of spades on the river. Definitely a card that Boz can represent here. I'm not sure we're going to see Ryan lead here, Tower. Once this ace rolls off on the river, it's going to be a good card for Boz's range, and Boz just doesn't elect to fire at it. And might have got looked up from Ryan with second pair in that particular scenario, but opts to give up, and Ryan takes another one, approaching that million mark.
Tim Chung knows Tom High. He's on Tom High, and also Scott Alford says that Tom High is an old Dustledone regular. That they've all punted on him. See, the value was there. Gary Stephen Smith, is there a guarantee for Edinburgh? No, it's an estimated price pool for Edinburgh, obviously with the restrictions regarding still needing to wear face coverings in the casino, the travel up to Edinburgh. It's just an estimated price pool. There are 2 live satellites on the Wednesday and the Thursday. There's an online flight for the main event as well on Wednesday at 8 PM. So if you want to...
Thank you so much.
Look at that. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, that is so good.
Get the camera on. Look at this. Look at this.
Which one is it?
This one here. This one here. There we are. Look at this.
One of the ladies was watching the live stream yesterday, obviously, when regarding pork scratchings, and she said she was going to bring some pork scratching, but we've got some celebrations in. Said, bring them celebrations over here. We got some celebrate. A little gift. Oh, that's just so nice. Thanks very much indeed. We weren't expecting that, but we're going to bring some pork scratchings. Back to the table, young man. Oh, what a job we are in.
Ryan has come to play today, Tower.
Some people call it a job.
Love that from Dan Cholton there, just 4-bet ripping the pocket 4s over Ryan's 3-bet out of the small blind. No fear from him. He's got a pair. He knows Ryan doesn't have to have it and just rips it in with the pair. And very nice from Dan Cholton there.
So yeah, so we're back to Edinburgh. It is, if we just actually just looking at that. That's the events and that's the schedule for Edinburgh. But please be aware, it is an estimated price pool. Obviously, we're regarding restrictions and face coverings are still mandatory inside the casino when you're walking round. You can sit at the bar without a face covering and drink away. But please be aware that you will need face coverings, and apparently you need a face covering on the train when you hit the border into Scotland. That's what I've been told. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've been told. So you do need a face covering. Just make sure you've got one, because restrictions are a little bit different in Scotland than England. But that's the schedule that will be there.
And down there, if you have a look on the Grosvenor client this Sunday, well today, at 5 past, 750 seat plus 750 in expenses. That's a great satellite. Basically 2 bullets. Get yourself in that, and then you can potentially be there with us in Edinburgh in a few days' time.
Absolutely. So just be aware. Where it's a little bit different in Edinburgh, which is why it unfortunately got postponed and then put back on. But that's what's happening in Edinburgh. And don't forget, you can still check the Poker Live app. All the schedule is on there. Make sure you're on the app. Make sure you check all the details regarding what's going on, and you can do that also here in Leeds regarding the seniors, the cash tables that are on. There's plenty going on, and don't forget, obviously, while we're still concentrating on the GUKPT, there's a 200,000 bad beat jackpot still available. Every time you play cash in any Grosvenor casino, there's a bad beat jackpot, and it's currently stands at. What were it? Oh, I thought we were in then. I thought he went like that with his chips. So yes, just be aware, there is a bad beat jackpot. It's currently standing at £200,000.
Yeah, if you lose with quad fours, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
200k, it's so much money, and that's around there if you're playing cash around the country in Grosvenor casinos. And the great thing about that as well, if you're playing at a casino and it goes at a different casino and you're playing cash at that time, you'll get a small piece of the prize pool as well. So it's really, really great promotion. 200k it's at, bad beat jackpot.
Yeah.
And cash games running all the time, all over the country.
If this comes a 7, well, it's another club actually. That's still a little bit more trouble for Gary. Ryan's picked up a flush draw and a pair. So we've got 2 pair and a flush draw for Ryan. We've got 2 pair for Gary. We know redraws for the flush, and they're in. And this might get cold, you know. This might get cold. Ryan's got the stack. He's got more outs with the flush draw. He's turned 2 pair. And Gary Whitehead, local lad to this casino, is the first person all in and facing a decision from Ryan.
The thing is, it's not the best that there's 2. Although it's come a club, it's paired the board tower. So now if Ryan is up against a king, his 7's no good. He's just going to be drawing to a club or an 8, and he will be aware of that. It's a difficult spot for him. If Gary had less chips, he's probably going to snap it off. But the problem is Gary's gone 134 into 98, so he's gone about 1.4x pot here. What Ryan's got to ask himself, is there ever a world here where Gary's going to have like an ace-x of spades or a hand like that, or an ace-x of clubs even, that's turned the back door? And if Ryan does think he can be ahead some of the time here with the 8-7 of clubs against a hand like that, a flush draw, then he probably will make the call. But the problem he's got is the price, and he has made it.
He's made it. Gary Whitehead is at risk, but he is 78% favourite on the hand. Ryan got more outs on the turn. Does he get there? And we lose one, or does Gary Whitehead get that all-important double on day 3?
River.
The river. The river.
It's an 8! It's an 8! That's not what I was expecting.
My days. Unbelievable.
And Ryan finds the 8 on the river.
Oh. Lucky in love, lucky in poker. That's that Ryan Mandara.
Oh, that weren't the river I was expecting.
Unbelievable.
So very unlucky for Gary there. All you can do is get the money in good, but unfortunately some of the times You will get unlucky.
Amazing.
As long as your opponent's got equity in the hand, they've always got a chance of getting there. A near 80% favourite there, Gary, and unfortunately for him, it's a great run, but he's going to be the first busted out today, 19th for £2,590.
Well done, Gary.
And that's going to be a tough one to take. If he doubled up there, he'd be right amongst it again, but sometimes it's just the way it goes.
Hiya Bernie, no, this is not the final table. We're now on 18 players. We're 8-handed, so there's 3 tables around the room. When we get down to 16, there'll be 2 full tables of 8. But at this moment in time, we now have 3 tables of 6. We have 3 tables of 6, with Gary being the first elimination today.
He's on my lap all day yesterday, and we've done a random seat already back on my left again.
Don't forget as well, everybody, at 6 o'clock today, our live stream free roll kicks off.
Oh yeah!
£250 live
Shall I
stream
flick
free
it in?
roll. So I might be flicking it in, and I'll tell you what, if you win that, you'll get a seat to our 50k close
Is
up.
any other free rolls about?
Could be.
Yeah?
There could be a little promotion coming up.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is, the Haymaker Knockout Series. He's already been tweeting
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
he has. I saw him tweet about it
Yes.
yesterday, I think it
He
was.
was at Tottenham yesterday for the boxing match. But down there, 7 free rolls on the trot, and you got a chance to play David A in a live streamed. Yes, we will be there streaming it. The Invitational Tournament down in the Vic, and we cannot wait to get there. 7 weekly winners plus all the money that's going to the 3,000 guaranteed.
It's free.
Free rolls. They're actually free to enter.
It's free to enter.
Free.
Why would you not get on it? Get on the client every
Yeah.
Wednesday, then free rolls. If you end up winning one, we'll see you at the Vic at the grand final in a couple of months'
Absolutely.
time. Tara and I will be there.
We will.
Covering it all, and it's going to be a great promotion. I'm really looking forward to that one. But as mentioned, the free roll, live stream free roll coming up today. If you do
Yes.
win that, you'll get a seat into our GUKPT closer tomorrow, Monday at 7. That is on the Grosvenor client. And good luck to everyone who's going to be entering that. The password for the free roll will be given out shortly, probably some point next session. There's Bixie here with the pocket aces.
Ryan Mandara sat in seat 2 for all those guys that are wondering which one is Ryan. Bixie in the hand in seat number 6.
Yeah, love this from Bixie, the way she's played this hand tower. She's checked back aces on the flop here and actually induced a bet from James on the turn with his gut shot, and really nice to see from her mixing it up. Makes it difficult to play against her post flop when you know she can check back some big hands, as well as just continue with her bluffs as well. And very nice to see. I'm actually happy to see it. And now James has got to come to the decision whether he's going to fire against Bixie here, and he is, and he's going to get snapped off. Bixie actually just moves all in, maybe trying to get value from a jack, and the aces are good. Well played. So that young lady, loves seeing that, checking the aces back on the flop. Big fan. Yeah, it's on Bernie, it's on Grosvenor Poker. You need to download the client, and it will be on there, our live stream free roll. Same place that the Haymaker series will be on, same place that the cash games are going on. We've got rake races going on every month for the low stakes and mid stakes, including if you don't fancy a hold'em, there's rake races for PLO. There's so much going on the client all the time. Satellites for 30-30s, GUKPT main events.
Jess has come to fill in one of the voids, so we're now 3 tables of 6. 18 players left in the mix.
So Jessica's all in with the pocket fives, and Dan has got the ace king.
Standard flip. Who wins? More or less 50-50. Slight favour of Jessica. Rooting for the girl. Doesn't make a difference to me, she's a poker player. But there you go.
Yes, that's what we like to
So
see.
straight in. Middle wicket.
Backdoor Broadway, backdoor Will is the only way that she is going to lose this one. And that is that. Jessica going to double up back to 226k.
So, over 200k yet again, Jess Pilkington. Yeah, we emphasise the ladies towards the poker players. And now on 226 and back near 20 bigs.
Probably depends on our boss though. Like if it's a bad thing.
Well, you've got to vote him. You play that every hand, you've got to play the long run.
Afternoon Shaw joining us on Facebook. Everyone who has just tuned in, this is day 3 of Leeds, the final day. This is what they are playing for. Running across the bottom of your screens there is the prize pool, £72,200 up top. As Tower says, if you play the last hand and lose it, still just under 52k you're going to be going in your back pocket. It's just been an incredible turnout. And, Ryan now back over the million chip mark. Going to be a real contender for this one.
Ian Wood just come out of retirement to play the old game and he's not even sat down.
Yeah, Bernie, that's right. You can download the app now and just wait for the password to be given out.
And if you knock someone out, they took your slip off and gave you an update. Yeah. And you just cashed it in at the end.
I bet the staff needs it,
Yeah, it was a bit of
It's a lot of messages about it.
too hard. It's just too hard, isn't it, for everyone, especially the staff.
Raised 25,000. Yeah. I'm sure it was a one case. It wasn't like this. It wasn't too hectic.
So we're on 19. We were on 19 when we started. Gary Whitehead has been eliminated, which means we're on 18. 3 tables of 6 at this moment in time. Yeah.
So we've got Boz opening to 25k under the gun, and Dan with the ace jack. Going to come in for a free bet to 75k. And that's going to get the job done. Boz not continuing with the king 9 suited.
I know what you're on the game.
Yeah. What? There's only 2. Hey. There's only 2 in the box.
Don't you get that?
Somebody's nicked his Maltesers out of the celebration box.
Only ones I like,
There
Tower.
were only 2. Celebration's not very Malteser friendly, are they? Yeah.
Oh, what a flop. 6-5-4 rainbow. This is trouble for Boz Tower. Oh, wow. If you've got money on Boz, he's going to be very short unless he can I can't see how he's going to... Yeah, I really can't see how he's not going to double Bixie up here, Tower. I can't see how Boz isn't going to double Bixie up. Bixie moves all in. Boz makes the call, and he's going to see he's drawing dead to a chop or running 4s.
Oh, that's ill.
It's
Look
gross.
at the face.
It's gross. Bixie is going to have 740k.
Wowzers.
Wow, what a flop.
What
it's cold as it
a
comes.
flop. What a flop.
That's it. That is it.
That's a double up for Bixie, and that's crippling Jamie O'Connor.
Wow.
Wowzers. Whoosh.
Bixie up to 740k. The coldest of flops there. 2 pair versus a set. 6-handed as well. And ouch, and Boz just gets it straight in with 2 pair there. I guess he's just making the assumption Bixie's going to do that with her over pairs. Obviously opening under the gun should be the flop for us, not for her, and unfortunately sometimes you just run into these cold decks and Boz is going to be left crippled.
And as Jay normally says, that deck's straight out of the freezer!
I said that once, I don't know where that come from. Ben Windsor highlight reel that was, wasn't it? He was so far behind, he was in Watford, weren't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Brilliant. So, the man himself, the Boz.
And I got some news just before Boz busted tower. We lost Mr. Ace Queen, Will McMurray.
No, do you know, let me tell you. Now let me tell you, I've just heard Will McMurray has been eliminated. And he sent me a message. And he said, I was 100% correct today. I was 100% correct last night because I had Ace King and he was against 5s and I lost. So you can tell all your professionals that I'm never doing it again. Isn't it just a case of winning your flips at the time? That's all it is, isn't it? It's literally just a case. He wins that and then he doesn't text me and say, well, you were right, Tower. Will McMurray, what a good effort, what a good run, a really good run, £2,590. Ace King against pocket 5s, doesn't hit, and it's one of those, Jess has just said exactly the same, Ace King against pocket 5s, she hit a 5.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those.
Flips are part of it.
Flips are completely part of the game, and it's the decision to make it or to call it off at that right time. Unlucky, Will, great effort. So we're down to 17 because Gary Whitehead and Will McMurray have just been eliminated, and we've just seen Boz. He will not be grinding that 100k stack on that cold deck that he's just received. He will be going in the next 2 or 3 hands for sure.
Yeah, well, he's on the button, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 hands before he's in the big, and I think if he finds any king suited queen here on the button, any pocket pair, it's going to be going in. Not now, because Dan's obviously opened the pocket 9s. He's going to be a bit more careful.
They are in.
Oh, there we go. King queen suited. Perfect hand.
Nice hand. King queen suited.
He actually just 3 bets, and James here with the ace 10 of hearts in the big blind. James playing 10 bigs here, but faced with this action in front of him.
Quadzilla Poker is saying, come on, Boz. Well, you've just missed the hand. So you might have to replay it when it gets uploaded later, because he's just had a brutal flop. He has just had a brutal flop as Boz. And he's now down to his last 100,000 and he's all in with King Queen. Very good. He's actually got a decent chance and favourite to win the hand.
He's up to 20 bigs, Tower, if he wins this, and he's back amongst it. It's not the end of the world yet.
Dan Charlton in seat number 1 with the 9s. Boz with King Queen suited, but the hand before was brutal.
Well, that it will be it. He's running.
You know when you need 10. To win your flips.
Yeah,
you know
that's it.
That's it.
Oh,
chop it up. Or you can win with a jack.
Win with a jack, chop with a 6. Can he find it? Oh, it's the 5 of hearts. So Jamie O'Connor is our 17th place finisher, taking home £2,590. Everyone now locked 2,880. And we are down to 16, so there's going to be a table break.
There will be.
We'll have some
Table
players
3 will be
over.
broke, and they'll be bringing in players. We'll carry on the game as normal, but we'll be getting 3 more players in. Follow us Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch. You're all watching on those platforms. You're also watching on the GKPT website as well, but all social media related. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Twitch to follow us. Watch all the action and wait for all the upcoming news regarding social media that was updated while we are off air on the live streams, but everything still carries on. It certainly does. I think the dealer's just been told to pause. Has he been told to pause? I think while we're just waiting for the players. Here we go. So, what a start, my old fruit.
Yeah, it's been good.
Pass the chocolates, come on. We'll have a minute while we're just waiting. What shall we have?
I'll have the
We
Milky
got
Way.
these
All
brought-
the Maltesers are gone.
We got these brought in by one of our wonderful viewers who was watching the live stream yesterday, and we said that we didn't like pork scratchings or scampi fries, and then all of a sudden the old celebrations come out. So we'll dip in, lucky dip.
If anyone that works for Celebrations is watching, you cannot have two Maltesers in one of
Caramel.
these. Two Malteser chocolates in this.
Not
That's
having
it.
Two.
My favourite.
Not having it. Two Maltesers in the entire box
It's
of
outrageous.
celebrations. I'm not
It's
having
outrageous.
it. Is that Nikolai coming
Yep,
to the
Nikolai
table?
coming over.
Two Maltesers in the entire box. We're writing to them. We're writing to them. You can have that later.
Sean Bob said bounties are embarrassing. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
No one eats the bounties. I don't, at least. Tower might.
You have heard the bounty story from the Goliath, haven't you?
No. Oh, the Joker's Wild.
The Joker's Wild.
Yep.
Talking about bounty and talking about Joker's Wild and talking about Goliath. Obviously, the Joker's Wild have bounties on the professionals and the sponsored players' heads, so they all wear the hats when you've been there. There's 5 prizes. Tickets to 5 GUKPTs from 500 to 300 to 200, 250. The last prize is a bounty bar because it's a bounty competition. So what do? We're in the comms. We're talking willy-nilly. There's a bounty on the table. Tower eats it. As you do.
And then there's no
Tom-
bounty prize.
Half an hour later, Tom from online comes in and he went, "Where's the bounty? Somebody's just won it." So he had to give him the empty wrapper. I said, "Sorry, you'll apologise. There's the empty wrapper." And I had to just... True story. True story.
Oh god, that's funny. That is. Imagine that. Good thing you didn't eat the 550 seat. Imagine that.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
True story. Yeah, the bounty was gone. I had to apologise and everything. I had to go running to Tesco's. So we're on 16 players. Gary Whitehead 19th, Will McMurray 18th, and as you've just seen right there, Jamie O'Connor 17th, all for £2,590. We've got a slight pay jump now, 16, 15 and 14 all received £28.80. Adam Bromley comes to the table. Nikolai Pomenerov comes to the table. Looks like Adam's increased his stack to over £1 million. And there was me thinking Natalie was the player in the house. I didn't realise that Adam's got all the skills.
They fold round to James with the King 10 on the button, and this is going to be a shove for him for 10 big blinds. Easy move in. And Dan here with the Ace 10 in the small. Won't be folding here, Tower. It's a button big blind, button shove for 10 bigs. And there we go. Dan counting out the calling chips. And we could be losing another one. because James is going to need to find a king.
Yeah. Bad shape for James Williams. Fortunate player, James Williams. I've seen him in the past, but you never know.
So to
Can
the
he
flop.
survive?
Needs a king ball.
He needs a king. He needs a lot of paints. Flop time.
We hope. We hope.
Oh, it's on the turn.
Comes on
we,
the turn.
We missed the flop and it comes straight in on the turn.
A jack would now do the job, or an ace, but it's a 6, so gonna double up is James Williams.
Whoa, unlucky Dan.
After that flop, he's probably halfway out the door, but
Yeah.
king on the turn finds the 3 outer, and Dan Cholton takes a little hit. James Williams gets the double. Yeah, the corn chisel. That is Nicolay. He did. I remember actually watching it myself. He was on the featured table, EPT 2019. I think it was Barcelona, wasn't it? I could be wrong. But yeah, Nicolay has played an EPT before or two. Definitely one. I remember watching him.
So just check the Poker Live app regarding the bounty. And don't forget to download the Poker Live app for all cash games around the country as well. And please be aware, there is a 200,000. No. $200,000 bad beat jackpot currently running in all cash tables and cash rooms in the Grosvenor Estate. 50 entries in the seniors. 50. No cash tournaments, no cash games running at the moment in Leeds, but don't forget, if you can, scroll around all around the country, find out where you want to play. If you go to the poker room in London, there are 2 tables open, 2 1-2 tables open at this moment in time, but they will get busier and busier. £200,000 bad beat jackpot running right now in all across the estate.
Funky Finance asks who's left in the tourney and has the biggest career earnings live and online. Without getting all the players up, I'd probably say it's the man in seat 1. I know Dan Cholton's got around 4 million in online earnings over his time, so yeah, Dan in seat 1 would be a good guess. Probably about $500,000 live earnings for him, but I know he's around 4 million in online earnings.
Hasn't Jack Hardcastle got a WPT?
Yeah, Jack's got a very, very good resume as well. I just think Dan's been around a lot longer than Jack, so he's obviously going to have played more tournaments, and it would be close. I think if you looked in 5 years' time, Jack would obviously increased it by a lot, but.
He does travel the globe with Jack. On the GPI, he's 108th, Jack Hardcastle.
Is he really?
Aye. In the entire world. 108th.
Yeah, Triciano, it's going to be a really good day. It is really, really good field. Some really notable names left in. I'm really looking forward to cover this until close. And Jessica here is going to be all in on the button you expect. There we go. She's found the ace king. She moves all in for 160k. I'm not getting any action from either player.
Just to, can I just reiterate that regarding the bag beat jackpot, the bag beat jackpot and all the clubs run from 6 till 6. So 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. is the national bag beat jackpot running times. So just be aware. Thank you very much.
Is that the start of the hand? I'm guessing. So if you play a hand at 5 to 6, it finishes at 2 past 6, and it's pots over.
If you're in a
pots.
7-minute hand, somebody wants TV time. But yes. Good to see Andy Morgan still in as well. He gets out of the way. Dan has got the pocket 10s.
It makes it 24. Adam not calling this one in the small blind. He does have the chips. And Big C got a pretty easy defend here with a suited king. Well, I say pretty easy. She obviously not wanting to go post flop against Dan out of position. Was getting 4.5 to 1 on her money, but suited king into the muck for her. Mainly just uncomfortable going post out of position, especially against Dan as well. And coming up as well, guys, we've got some 30-30s. I'll show you where they are after this hand. If the main event buying is a bit out of your remit, we have some £400 comps up and down the country coming up over the next couple of weeks. So much going on with Grosvenor Poker to close out the year. There's Adam. Should be opening this one on the button, 7-5 of spades. Once folded to us, we've got the chips. There's not really a stack that's going to shove over our open in the blinds. And there is the open from him, makes it 27. And Andrew just going to fold the 10-4. So let's have a look where we're off to in a couple of weeks' time.
Where are we going?
There we are.
Yes. You can pick and choose where you want to go.
Well, starting on Wednesday, I should say, Reading South, Leicester, Blackpool. They are the next stops. And
online flights as well, and if you make it through and bag up a stack, you can take it to either one of those clubs. It's not you don't have to play in Reading. If you live in Reading, you want to go to Leicester or Blackpool for the weekend, then off you go.
you do it if you want.
Absolutely.
And then after that, Wednesday, 20th October to 24th, Portsmouth, Manchester and Glasgow. And then the final week 6, 10th of November to the 14th. Leeds, Luton, Bolton and Edinburgh. All these tournaments are £400 buy-in, 50k guarantee on every one. And as well, it's a 30k starting stack.
There is talks of the 25-25s coming back later in the year and next year as well. So please, on social media, keep well up to date with all going on poker related on Grosvenor, because there is plenty going on and plenty to be announced, that is for sure. Dark Angel Donna says this year's gone too quick. You're not wrong. We don't realise we only started in July. Last week in July we were in London. We don't realise these things. And before you know it, we're in October. The days are drawing in. The golfing days get shorter.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. 884, 2 diamonds. Like to see Jess come in for one bet here. Don't need to go too big. You can go around 20k here on this paired board. 2 diamonds, and then just give up a lot of the time on turns when James calls us. Obviously, unless it's a king or a queen, but glad to see her coming in for the C-bet here and takes that one down with king high. Nice play from her.
Gibraltarian, good point. Southampton has been changed to Portsmouth. It got changed last week. Southampton was on the list originally. It is now changed to Portsmouth. So they swapped it round. I don't know what the reason was, but they've changed it on the schedule from Southampton to Portsmouth. So yeah, thanks for clearing that up. But some of the old news still say Southampton, but it is definitely Portsmouth.
JJ says, why are they called the 30-30? Well, 30k starting stack.
Yeah,
and
but
when it started, it was a 30-minute clock. That was why the original name was chosen. That was it.
That's the only time you get the knockout. We got like 8 days left.
So yeah, so they made it. They changed it into a 40-minute clock with a 50,000 guarantee. Obviously, the 25-25s are called that because they were 25,000 starting, so we 25,000 guarantee.
Yep.
So yeah, the names. I think the 3030 will have a rebrand. I still like the G4.0. Seems like it's 400 and it's in the Grosvenor casinos. There'll be plenty of 3030s and plenty of 25-25s and whatever events they get called in the coming months and next year. Next year's going to look stacked as well.
So James completes and Dan just sets him in for 18 big blinds effective with the ace.
Yeah, the best way to get into these 3030s, satellites in, you're starting from a fiver. The tickets and the steps start from a fiver, £30 tokens into 300s and to £400 comps. There's plenty of ways to get in online. There's feeders running all the time. Will the £100 deep stacks return with the 25-25s? I hope so. I'm guessing it's all about the staffing of all these events because all the outside events like the 25-25s and the deep stacks and the seasonal specials, they're all freelanced. As well as your local staff as well, and now things are starting to slowly get back to normal. We know there's a massive staffing issue regarding everywhere in the country. We know the troubles we're having with the petrol stations. We know the trouble the hospitality is having. We know the troubles whatever remit you're in. It's just one of those things that we will slowly start getting back to what we were used to with the deep stacks and the 25-25s. It will take time, but things will start to ease and get better. As you know, there's a lot of worrying things going on regarding the fuel situation at the moment.
And it's always nice when you find aces on a big
always
day
nice
3, and Ryan free bets the open from Andrew in the cut-off here to 105k. And just a sat fold from Andrew, not getting involved with the king-queen. That's what everyone's playing for. We'll keep running it across the bottom. Nick Peters says, great idea with the Wednesday David Hay free rolls. What happens if Tower wins all the free rolls? Well, it'll be David versus Tower heads up, won't
Absolutely.
it? There'll be no 8-man sitting going,
Yeah,
it'll be heads up.
Nobody's told us what happens if somebody wins. We are guessing it's going to be very unlikely, but it can happen.
It's just like, I reckon there'll be so many runners to out for this promotion in these
But if
free
it
rolls,
does happen,
and if someone wins.
If it does happen, we'll let online sort that out.
Yep. But if it does, fair play to them. If you can win 2 of them, fair play out of 7.
Yeah.
As Adam opens the ace-10, Jessica not defending the 8-3 off, going to go into the muck.
We were saying, Nick, before that, we were saying that yesterday, there's 7 free rolls and David A, which is 8 players, and it's a 9-handed table. Obviously, seat 5's for myself anyway.
It would be great.
So I've no idea what all the fuss is about.
We did see you on the feature table once, Tal. Remember UKSPC when we done the staff sit and go?
Oh yes, we were.
Yeah, me, you, Boovie, Dave, Kit, Yanis, Katie. Who was the other one?
We played in. We played in the Bounty Comp at Goliath. I got chucked in to FaceTime to promote social media.
Yeah.
So I was FaceTiming, and you'll only be in 20 minutes, Tower. Can you just chuck in your chips and have a good laugh? Well, at the first break, I was chip leader. I never lost a hand. I was playing every card available, and I never lost a hand. And I was even FaceTiming my whole cards, and somebody was watching it on the other end of the table, showing me cards, and I realised that then we were live, obviously with FaceTime, that people could actually see it live. But yeah, it was one of those. And then eventually they just pulled me out of the comp because I just couldn't lose.
Yeah, of course you can. Do you want to go grab half hour?
Who's coming in?
Got Tim Chung coming in.
No way, we'll swap seats.
Yep.
Get me out
I'll
of
tell you
town.
what, I'll go there.
Tim Chung is going to tell us about Bixie because he's got £1,000 on at 40s. Let me tell you. Incoming, Mr. Tim Chung to talk sense. Back shortly.
You're all right, don't you? Camera, are you? Yeah, of course, yeah. All right, joined by, I'll chuck it on, comms cam quick, you can see, there we are, up there. Tim Chung joining me for a half hour or so, probably till the end of the session. Tell us about this one. I see her with you a lot, Bixie, under the gun now.
I actually met her playing poker, but then found out she's literally like my neighbour.
Oh, really?
We've been living on the same estate for like 7 years, and our estate only has like 60 houses.
Okay.
And she's like 3 doors down. So I was like, okay, small world. And then I gave her some coaching as well, so yeah. That's why she's here.
Yeah, that's why. Just to be honest, she had a deep run. She was on my table in Birmingham last week, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. The first time I've seen her on the tour this year, but making runs, which is very good, and some.
Yeah, she only started playing poker a couple of years ago, and then the lockdown. So then you wouldn't have, no one would have ever played with her really. Andrew folded the ace queen.
Yeah. Bixie opened under the gun.
That's a lot of respect.
Yeah, that is a lot of respect. And action on Adam. Jessica folded king queen on the button. And there we are, Adam with 10-9 of clubs here.
Wow.
Oh, folds as well.
They must think this aces is pretty hard to crack, yeah.
She opened to 60k, Tim, at 10-15, so she's opened 4x, so that might be, that might have been why.
That's unlikely, that's not like her, but I mean, I don't know if it's a graphic error though, but I mean, it might have been right, because everyone folded, but...
It would make more sense why the ace queen and the 10-9 suited folded there. What have you been up to? You've been playing much, cash, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Mainly cash, yeah.
PLO?
Both.
Yeah, both.
PLO, Hold'em. More PLO, but losing. Unfortunately, last 2 months, yeah.
It happens sometimes, man. It does happen,
Yeah.
especially in PLO.
How about you? You've been playing?
Well, last sort of month and a half, I've played one session. I've had a lot of time off. Been a bit of a change up in my life the last month and a half, so been spending time doing other things. It's been nice actually, because I was hammering it during lockdown, playing online every day, and yeah, but it's been good. It's been a good year and a half, good pandemic. Really been enjoying it. Glad to be back here though. Love the old commentary, getting involved. Blind and blind here, Adam with the 9s. Looks like he's made it 75, 55, 55. And Bixie here with the pocket 5s, can't see her folding. Do you have like, when you have your chats there, like, do you go over hands with her and like just like say a bit of coaching?
We used to do some coaching, but now it's just like, you know, chatting over hands.
Yeah. She's opted to 3-bet here, to 1-2-5. And back on Adam with the 9s, blind on blind here, massive hand.
Yeah, I think in this spot he's probably just going to call and then, yeah, decide. Yeah, I don't think he's folding, but I don't think he's going to rip against her. I mean, if he's folding 9-10 of clubs earlier against her, it's probably not. You know.
Yeah, of course. So it does just flat, heads up to the flop. Jack 6-3, 2 clubs. So Adam's still with the best of it. 2 overs to Bixie's 5s.
feel like she might just win this one.
I think Adam's definitely going to check call once with the 9s, unless Bixie opts for a big sizing. But especially what I saw yesterday on the table, is how she seems to get a lot of respect, People give her a lot of credit in spots.
Yeah. That's usually the case with female players.
Yeah.
I think, like, they definitely give them a lot more respect than...
Yeah, so it continues for 70k into 265. And you're right, Tim, spot on. Adam just snap folds the 9s.
Yeah, I mean, he should definitely call one, but I mean, each throw around, sometimes sitting there it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's see the whole cards, and
yeah,
obviously it affects it. She's definitely. You had a little punt of her today, yeah?
Yeah. 100 quid.
100 quid at 50s.
Yeah.
Oh wow. What a sweat that would be if she's deep. I should mention as well, we've lost Paul Grummett in 16th for £2,880. He is out the door, so we're down to 15 players. Table of 7, table of 8. This table is 7-handed. As Bixie completes in the small blind, and James got an easy shove here with the ace-3 of diamonds for 15 big blinds. In it goes. A little bit more. Slight graphics just changed. 16.5 bigs in the middle.
I think it's one of those weird graphics because they don't know about the big blind ante.
Yeah. Do you ever just fold it round to you in the small blind with King 10 against James's stack size? Do you ever just move in here with King 10 or?
In general, I just move in, but it kind of, for me anyway, like, whether it's correct or not correct, it really depends on the table, depends on the field, how much do I want to up my variance, how much do I want to lower my variance. Obviously, that's one of those spots where it's high variance but low variance, or low variance but high variance. You know what I mean? Like, it's like people when they think like, oh, I don't want to like 3-bet 10s because it's high variance, but in a way you're technically lowering your variance because you're playing heads up instead of freeway potentially. Like, so it's kind of a confusing one where it's like almost like an oxymoron where you're like not really sure. So like here limping, taking stabs is like great, take down a lot of pots. Like, if you've got full control, like, I in general prefer to play that way. But if I'm in a table where a little bit tougher, feels a little bit tougher, gonna push some spots. But if people are just letting you take pots down just for fun, like, really, there's just no need to like ever play anything like any variance at all. Like, yeah, 3-bet, you got ace king, I'm just gonna flat or fold, to be honest. Like, sometimes not even call the 3-bet with ace king, just because obviously it's a great hand, but ace king is one of those where, like, you get paid if you flop it ace or a king, but then against the ranges, what do you get paid against? Probably only against the overpairs, and they only give you one streak because an ace or a king comes. Yeah. So then, and then obviously the horrible ones where it's reverse implied, where you flop top pair and you're dead when they have top set, you have 3 outs.
That's actually a really intriguing concept.
Against the softer fields, I just sold ace king to 3-bets, to be honest, actually. But then obviously when I just have that feel that I know that I like to fold these, then I'm like, no, I'm not folding. It's like I would exploit fold sometimes, but then like if I know that that I exploit fold, then I just don't fold to you as well. You can't just. People think you can run people around because you're not playing GTO. I mean, I play mix.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how you should play. That's how I like to play as well.
So people think, oh yeah, but if I play exploit, then I'll get killed by GTO people because you're overfolding here, but not really, because I know that you know I'm overfolding in spots versus some people. I'm not overfolding versus you.
Yeah.
I'm exploit folding, overfolding versus some people,
Yeah.
and they see that, they think you can do that to me. Yeah, no, you can't do that. But against you, I'll probably just play GTO again.
Yeah.
Or because I know that you know that I'm overfolding, that means I know that you're over bluffing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
then you're technically exploiting instead of playing GTOs, and then I just call more. You know. But also in the spots where, like, you know, where against the really good players, when they're like the super. Carry on.
Well, we'll come back to that. It's really interesting to listen to, actually. And Nikolai's getting in 80k here, last 7-8 bigs, and Ryan's called it off in the big with the king 8. It's off to the flop. Nikolai trying to get back in. That's not a good window card to see. Drawing to just an ace at the moment. Story stays the same on the turn. Going to need to find an ace, or we're going to lose another one. And it's the 7 of clubs, so we're going to lose Nikolai Ponrav from the tournament. I should note as well, Stu Rutter, 2 minutes before that, busted on the outer table in 15th, so Nikolai is our 14th place finisher. So we are down to 13 players, just like that. The thing I always say as well, Tim, like in these fields, I don't know, you probably play like higher online than me, tournaments and stuff like that. I don't play too many tournaments, but in these like particular fields, if you're playing this GTO, you've got to assume that everyone else is playing that as well. They're playing these ranges, and they're playing the correct ranges, and that's never the case in these fields. And that's why I love just taking the exploit line in these. I don't play the mains anymore,
it's
obviously.
like there's so many things to think about. Like, you know, people are just, how are they on their first bullet, second bullet, third bullet? Like, you know, I've been here all day, I can't be bothered. Is this guy rebuying tomorrow? Like, like they're just going to get in much worse, or they're going to be a lot tighter. Like, you know, there's just some things, especially in live poker, where like you just have this intuition that really can't be taught. Like, you know, online you can't really use too much intuition per se, because you can't see, you can't feel. But like some people, you can. Let's not say it's a live tell, but you can definitely see the way some people. The way they throw, the way they throw chips in, you can kind of like, nah, he's not bluffing like this, like, you know.
Like Helmuth always goes on about white magic and stuff like that, and I'm a big believer in that. Like when you're just in that spot, and everything, like the theory's telling you to fold, but something inside you is just telling you to call, and like you make the correct decision. It just feels great, and that's something that obviously, like I say, that just can't be taught. I just think you just have it or you don't in certain situations, and it's definitely a thing. Just that gut feel sometimes when your head's telling you to fold, all the theory, fundamentals.
So when like people talk about gut, it's like not really gut. It's like your brain or like your memory has just seen this person do this so many times, and your brain just remembers. It's like, I've seen him do this 100 times in my head. I can't really get it out, but I know what it is. It's like limitless, you know, like NZT. It's like somewhere in the back of my head. Like I've seen this guy twitch his head. I'm not even saying he's twitching his head, but like my brain is remembering like this head action, and like that's just not a bluff. And then that's what gut feeling is sometimes. Like, you know, it's not really just a random feel. It's like, oh, I've seen this before, so, you know.
It's like just getting in touch with your subconscious, which like consciously you've not picked up on something, but subconsciously you have, and it just comes into you. And it's like, it's so weird to explain, but I understand exactly where you're coming from. And Jessica here shoving for 10 big blinds. Brian open button, Jess just rips with the ace jack, good to see, and she's going to take that one. But we are down to 13 players, playing 10k, 15k. We've got about 40 minutes left of the session before the first break of the day.
I said that before.
Rob says, how many of these players would have gone home last night and watched bits back of the stream to pick up tendencies, or is the rest more important? I think a lot of people do. I think they don't necessarily watch the whole stream, but when they're on the table, a lot of people do like to go back and watch it. And if players are still left in the field, if you can pick up anything they're doing, any little tells, sizing tells, or just their tendencies that they're playing, it can obviously be beneficial. You've got a little bit of extra information. Sylvia, no, I'll show you who's in the comms box with me. There we are. Got Mr. Tim Chung joining me for this session.
Hello, Sylvie.
As James makes it 30k under the gun with the Kings. Opening off with 15 bigs here with the Kings. Sylvia says hello, Tim.
We need our last longers back. I need to try and get some rebate. So yeah, in these fields, like, you know, depending on how tough or easy they are, you just want to lower your variance as much as possible. Like, you know, okay, I win one pot worth 100k, but I know I steal the blinds and it's 40, so then I just need to steal 2, and it's probably so easy to steal 2, you know. So then those ones you just kind of, you know, just tighten up in certain spots, but then loosen up in the other spots. You know, just I think in general, like if you ever need to guess, just don't play the hand. You know, like in fields where it's easy. You know, if you ever need to ever guess in a hand or at any point, just fold.
That's a good bit of advice. Sylvia says she got bored of giving you 50 quid constantly. Well, what app would you use to do last?
No, we used to just do last longest for 50 quid. Yeah.
Oh.
I might be wrong, but not. I don't even want to dissuade her. But like, from my memory, the last time she actually won the last longer was she had to win the comp. I can feel I came fourth in that tournament. She had to win the comp to beat me in the last longer. Remember that, Sylvia? You had to win the comp to win the last longer.
So Queen Jack of Hearts for Adam in the calf makes it 33. And Dan should be defending this one in the big blind, Queen 10. And does, heads up. Nice little action flop for us. 10-9-5 rainbow. Adam opting to check back his up and down here. Dan with top pair. Decent kick up.
No, I think he hasn't. Oh. Oh yeah, he has.
Yeah, it's gone check and wow, Queen on the turn. And Dan's checked again here. And Adam now fires after turning top pair to go with his up and down. Dan with Queen 10.
I think in this spot, personally, for Dan, I think he should just be leading instead of check raising. I assume he's check raising, for sure. Yeah. But, you know, in general, I think he should be leading this turn. The hands that bet the turn, as Adam, it's really not going to be ace king very often at all. It's just going to be a decent queen.
Ace queen.
Yeah, ace queen, king queen. Ace queen might not call a check raise for start, but if he leads lead, he's calling for sure. Queen jack, we just expect him to just bet the flop as well. I mean, he didn't in this spot, but he.
Yeah, same as king jack and queen jack.
Yeah, that's
king
what I mean.
Really. You expect them to continue flops in these spots.
Yeah. So then, in general, like you're not really getting too much value from check raising per se, and then he might fold river too. So then you might lose value there. So then I think he should just be leading. You can go for bigger sizings if you want, and you give ace jack, ace king, some free rivers, turns and rivers as well, so that can be pretty bad.
Now we're going to come in for value.
Yeah.
And after Adam calls him on the flop here, on the turn, like what's it look like Adam's got from his perspective?
It should just be like ace queen,
ace
really.
Queen, ace queen, king queen.
All the hands that fold, but I think against ace queen, it should just probably go like 120.
175 into 281.
Oh, he shoved.
Wow. He's bluff shoved here, Adam. Wow. Wow. Wow, what are we doing here is damn Tim.
I think he should just fold, to be honest.
So do I. That's what I want to say. I think he should just fold as well. And
sick bluff.
that is a sick bluff. Wow, Adam.
Unless he misread his hand and thinks he has king jack, like that's possible too, because he didn't bet flop. Like we don't know. Like, but anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I guess nines, maybe, in there, but would he shove nines? I don't know. 10-9, 4 rainbow, might check back nines and then take that line. But
yeah, I mean, me and Jay both don't think it's horrific. Me and Jay both think we would fold too.
I'd fold, yeah, I'd definitely fold. I just, in live poker, what I've learned over the years is people just don't bluff them spots, especially this stage of the tournament as well. That's a big factor. And Adam, like not too aware of.
I mean, was there a flush draw on the turn?
No, it was rainbow turn. Yeah.
So then he definitely would probably play king jack this way. You know, if there was a flush draw and he's Adam's fast playing like straights and stuff, then then we could probably call this river because he won't have king jack very often and some random stuff. But when there's a rainbow board on turn, he would. Let's not say happily, but he would slow play king jack on a turn, not scared of flushes and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty. It should usually just be king jack.
Always be king jack. Like, just people don't bluff into the spots enough. Like they're just so under bluff. Like it's so rare. Even on stream, like I just don't see enough like river raise bluffs, and it's for that reason you just like. Make the exploitable laydown and just fold. And I still can't believe Adam done it. I can't. I've watched Adam play the last few days and I didn't
Maybe
realise
he did think he had king jack.
I don't know. Maybe he just went for it. If he thought about the hand right, he's actually got a really good hand to bluff with. Like he has like 2 pairs of less likely. Obviously got the jack in there, making it less likely Dan has jack 8 or king jack. But some play still, some play. So Big T open cut off and gonna be raising the 4s here after James bets after she checks to him. And she's probably going to have to call this off now. 61k to win 440. The times that James just has some diamond draws, going to have to put in this, getting 7 to 1 on a call. But she's going to need to find a 4. But James just flattened the aces pre-flop on the button, like to see it, especially off his stack size. Just going to get too many folds when he rips in. Just fading the 4, and we'll see a double up for James Williams. And it's a 6 on the river. He will double up. Do you think Adam was trying to get a hand like 2 pair to pass there? Do you think he was trying to get a hand like Queen 10, Queen 9 suited, like all the hands Dan can have? Does he think he would have? I
think it's just more likely that he just thinks he had king jack, to be honest. Like. Because, I mean, that would be my theory, to be honest, like, if I had to pick, like, if I had to go through anything, but, I would guess he just misread his hand. I might be completely wrong for that. If I had to choose, that would be my guess, Because as I said, I feel like Queen Jack would just bet flop more often than not, like, whereas King Jack might, and then take this complete line. So yeah, I would just guess he probably misread his hand. I don't know. But if he didn't, it might. I feel like it would just be random and not trying. It's one of those where like you're not really, it's not really. When you play poker and you're just like, are you bluffing or are you not? Like maybe he doesn't know either. No disrespect. Obviously, I'm just saying. Or it's just the spur of the moment where he doesn't even know what he's doing. Like sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. I just do it and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, so maybe just for whatever.
He said after the hand to the table it was a bluff. So obviously he was bluffing. didn't misread his hand and just went for it and got down to fold top two.
So in a bluffing that spot is kind of weird, just because like Dan's all in the button, very normal.
Dan's all in for what is 7 big blinds here. Jess playing 13 bigs, or just over 12. Queen 10 of hearts. I think Dan's, if I'm Jess here, I'm probably calling, but against Dan. Dan's going to for 7 big blinds to him, and he's going to be shoving.
I mean, as an actual hand perspective, it's definitely a snap call, but when we lose, is it how good or bad is it? Because we only have 180k as well. But I guess in this sort of field, you probably just have to flick it in. As I said, I've done some like crazy stuff. Like again, on some soft fields, I've like raised folded 7s for 7 bigs when I have 30. Obviously, if I'm more, I'll call. But like when you have 30 and it's a fast clock, then my 30 becomes 23, and then I can't do that much. I kind of have to play fairly tight. Whereas if I still have 30, I can still run over the table. And the guy's probably like shoving tight as well. I'm not saying, I would fold 7s to someone that's shoving whatever. But like if the guy's like, again, notice if they're like really old, then I'm like, oh, probably a very good hand. Then then my 7s don't look too good, and it's obviously chip EV, but that 0.05 chip EV is like nothing compared to like what I can do. Like
with
you would like a lot of people just see like, oh, I'm making money, like, or whatever, but then like a lot of people don't see it in like a poker or a business point of view, where like, oh, okay, I open a KFC here, it makes money, so let's open it. But like, oh, what if I open a KFC over the road or like in a different town? Does that make more money? People just see something makes money, they're like, let's do it. That's why people don't make enough money. Like they just see something makes money, so they do it. But then like, there's so many things that make more money, more options. They just think it's like yes or no, but then they don't look at the in betweens. They don't look at that. So then that's why people, let's not say fail, but they don't make enough, or in the long term they don't make enough because they're always making like these 0.05s. Like how often you need to play this hand so often to make that bet. Like so, like in spots like you're going deep in a tournament. Okay, in a live tournament, how often do you go deep in a live tournament to even make up that 0.05? I need to play 10,000 of them. Am I going to play 10,000 of them? No, and I'm even going to play 500 of them. Maybe not, and then I have to go deep 500 times.
Eventually, Jessica does find a call. I agree with her on this one, and it's basically a flip. Ace-9 suited for Dan, Queen 10 of hearts for Jessica. No help there. Queen or 10 needed on the turn. Or river. Otherwise, Dan Cholton's going to double up. And it's a jack of diamonds. Dan will double up, leaving Jessica fairly short. Joe Foley, Tim Chung, how to succeed in the fried chicken industry.
But yeah, like with Jess's hand, it's like you have, day 1, day 2, or whatever, like easy call. But then like ICM, you lose, you're down to 5. You win, you're not like a massive equity favorite that often. And then what does that put you on? Like not that you can do much more with that stack either. Like you go up to like 200ish, where it's like you're still playing the same style. And I mean, if you're never getting shove spots, to be honest, because people on your right are opening constantly, then yeah, you're not going to get spots. Then of course take the spot. But this table hasn't been like ridiculously active at all, so like you definitely have a lot of shove spots. Like Bixie's probably going to be tight. Like Adam's probably going to be tight. James is a short stack. She can shove in a lot of spots where she can take chips very easily. Well, air quote very easily. So really, you don't need to like take these marginal spots like.
Bixie opening under the gun, makes it 35 with the King 9, and Dan, who is playing 17 big blinds, moves all in with a King Queen. But it does take this spot over Bixie's open. Bixie not going to be calling once it folds back around to her. Definitely going to be folding here, but going back to what we were talking about before, the hand
like,
between the Queen 10 and the Ace 9.
like how often are you getting into this spot to realise your equity, you know? It's like, as I say, like, you know, if you play blackjack, we all, or all of you guys who like to punt on gambling, like, would all play blackjack hypothetically with £1,000, and you guys would be betting 25, 25, 25, or 50, 50, 50, maybe max 100, 100, 100, whatever, with 1,000. But then technically, the best way to actually play blackjack is to just whack that whole 1,000 on. Because you guys are prepared to lose that 1,000, prepared, but so then why not just double up? Whereas you have 49% edge. Whereas if you keep pushing your 49% edge divided by 40, you're gonna get whacked.
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna get whacked way more. So you'd rather just like whack it on, especially if you are prepared to lose.
Bluffing.
Yeah, if you are prepared to lose that 1,000, then you should do it that way, you know.
We're back. Yeah.
Did I have middle set? I might have had middle set. I might have had middle set on sixes on Jack 6-3. I'm not sure.
What's that? 275. You did, didn't you? I give you that.
75.